Maybe y'all saw the news out of Nebraska today. Our state has, in fact, gone bankrupt.
We need trade deals as fast as we can for Nebraska. We're an export state, and our corn and soybeans right now are being shut out of the market, and that's why Nebraska is on its heels right now. We've lost about 6% of our GDP, according to the economic numbers that are official, and that's not a good sign. And so if we can get some tariff deals and get these markets open back up, ultimately that's what we want.
So are we going to sit at home on the couch and let these billionaires control the country? Hell no. We are the poor people. We're a red state.
Hey, Nebraska, do you need a tissue for your issues? Hey, Nebraska, save the drama for your mama.
Nebraskans are pissed. Bigly, Askins, the Askins are pissed. Nebraskans. No one wants to hear Farmer John with his butt crack showing, married to a Karen, complaining about losing your little farm. When you voted for me, they don't feel sorry for you. And I don't need your votes anymore, so I don't care.
Nebraska is supposed to go bankrupt in 6 months. Supposedly I'm on that side of TikTok. So to that side of TikTok that knows bankruptcy is coming, why did you vote that way? I have to ask, why did you vote against your own farm?
Guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're good, hope you're fine. My name is Philomena and this is Time with Phil. If you're new on the channel, kindly subscribe. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much. You guys are the real MVPs. Now, I see in my FYP a lot of videos where people are saying Nebraska is going bankrupt. It wouldn't really be surprising because they have the highest number of farmers that have filed for bankruptcy. Like over 200 farmers have filed for bankruptcy actually. And since they are an agricultural state and that is what is funding them, obviously they are going to feel the pinch. Also, they export a lot of their produce to China. And now with the tariff war between US and China, a lot of the deals have been cancelled. So it's now affecting them like massively. And so if they are going broke or going bankrupt, it really wouldn't be surprising. People have come out with various reactions. Like most people are saying, we don't care. You can't shoot yourself in the foot and cry wolf after. You knew this was what was going to happen and you still voted for it because you're a red state. Now, what do you want us to do? Let's watch the videos together, guys. Credit goes to the owners of the videos, and do not forget to leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section.
When China said they don't give a f, they meant it. If you haven't heard, China has ended its beef exports from the US. Losing those exports is worth $1.6 billion to the US. And you want to guess which state exports the most? Nebraska. And they have a $400 million budget short, which means the Nebraskan ranchers are not going to be able to get a subsidy from the state because they're already $400 million short. China took that beef exports right over to Australia. And China didn't stop there. They are also reducing their soybean exports by 9.5%. or almost $5 billion. And Indiana is going to feel that pain seeing that they export $2.6 billion or 60% of their soybean crops to China. And China is going to subsidize that through Brazil. So that means we are losing again. Have you noticed that they are targeting red states? That seems pretty strategic if you ask me, targeting red states.
Maybe y'all saw the news out of Nebraska today. Our state has, in fact, gone bankrupt. Due to his tariffs and the loss of all of our migrant farm workers, our state has lost over $500 million. It's so bad that Governor Pillen had to call and ask him for a bailout, and we don't know if he's going to give it to us. My husband and I did used to own a farm here in Nebraska, and thanks to the loss of all the workers, we went bankrupt, and bankruptcies in our state overall are at a record high right now. It's still just so weird to me because we all voted red. Nebraska, every county, every district overwhelmingly voted red, and that seems to have been the reason that we're all out of business now. And that just doesn't make that much sense to me. If you vote for a party, shouldn't they protect you? Shouldn't they pass policies that will help you stay out of bankruptcy? And it's not just the farms, but The whole state is going under because we voted red. When you're a farming family like mine, I can see now that it is important to think before you vote.
Nebraska going into bankruptcy because of self-inflicted damage. They were team firing over here, saying, you know what, everybody pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Our ideology is nobody should get anything that they don't deserve. Now they want a bailout. They're asking for socialism. Socialism bad until I need socialism. Get the fuck out of here.
It's Joe from Georgia. So we're getting ready for the first domino to fall, and we know what happens after the first one falls. Well, the state of Nebraska, the governor, Jim Pillen, has asked the federal government for help because they're not going to be able to pay their bills this year. And here's the problem in Nebraska. They had over a $2 billion contract with the Chinese government to export soybeans to China. Well, out of that $2 billion, they've canceled all the contracts. So out of that $2 billion, $350 million was state revenue taxes. They're not getting any of that. And the governor also goes on to say that because the migrant farmers weren't able to work in Nebraska this summer, that those people didn't pay their taxes either. And the farmers who already have crops in the ground, folks, they've already spent their money. They're going to need help too because they're not getting any money from the contracts anymore. So Nebraska is the first state. And when you look at the Midwest, you're probably looking at Kansas, you're looking at Iowa, South Dakota, all of those places that are large exporters of grains to China and depend on migrant farm labor. They're not going to be able to pay their bills either. So here's the first one to fall. But of course, as we do know, a certain person in a certain house in Washington, D.C. at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, they know all about bankruptcy. I'm sure they'll be able to help.
Hey, Nebraska, is this you? Come on up to the front of the classroom. I have some information for you.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
So I know that when you elected Donald Trump, you decided to put all of your apprehensions aside and elect a person who was clear about his intentions. He was going to get rid of undocumented immigrants, which would cause your primary industry, the agriculture industry, to go down. Then he decided to do away with the farm subsidies, basically welfare, that would just annihilate farmers in Nebraska. But wait, there's more. Those two things are just the tip of the iceberg. I was told from a well-placed source that you guys are considering bankruptcy in the not too distant future. They said 6 months or so. So if you combine all of that bad news with these people deciding to vote against you who desperately need health care, they are and will and have voted for a framework of a budget that would basically annihilate Medicaid in your state. Let me give you a secret. I don't know if you know this, but over 341,000 residents in Nebraska are on Medicaid. That represents $3.7 billion of revenue, of money, of spending that goes to the state of Nebraska for health care. And this is not just health care, just ad nauseum. This is health care that goes to take care of patients and then also goes to fund hospitals in a rural state, hospitals that are desperately needed. Now, this is the kicker. Of that $3 billion or so that goes into the state,
the American farmer will figure it out, plant something different, grow a new crop. You just told me you know nothing about farming. There are approximately 100,000 soybean farmers in the United States that planted their crops this year expecting to sell to China. Now China will not be buying their crop. They have nowhere to sell it. So this year's crop is done because they can't just dig up the crop and plant something new. It doesn't work that way. Not just that, there are a lot of states where you can only grow certain things. You can't just grow anything anywhere. It's not how it works. The soil's not the same everywhere. The soil is perfect for soybeans. It might not be perfect for other things. You don't know shit about shit, and they can't just recover from that. They can't just grow something else that easily. Yes, some of them can, but not all of them. Some small farms are going to go under because of Trump's tariffs. 100%.
So Nebraska, which is a red state, is still scheduled to go broke in 6 months, and the residents are very unhappy about it. And they had this to say.
So are we going to sit at home on the couch and let these billionaires control the country? Hell no. We are the poor people. We're a red state.
Now, that was a 5-minute video that I cut down to that about 10-second clip that I just showed you, because what that man said in that clip was so significant. It really, really stuck out to me. The part where he said, we're a red state, really, really stuck out to me, and further reinforces when we always say that many people who voted for this administration believed that the policies of this administration would not affect they asses. Y'all f***ed around, and now it's time for y'all to find out. Y'all voted for hate, even with the possibility that you might go hungry, even with the possibility that it might affect your health. Y'all voted for hate. Congratulations on getting what you voted for.
I'm so excited for everyone to call me a bad person again in my comments, but guess what? I do not care about Nebraska going bankrupt in 6 months. I do not care. I do not care. Maybe a few other of those red states should go bankrupt in 6 months so the blue states can swoop in to save them, so they can understand that we are not the bad ones. We are not the poor ones. We are not the ones who cannot survive under the orange turds' crazy policies. But you know why I don't feel bad for Nebraska? You know why? Because I believe I heard 65% of their workforce is undocumented people, which means they're not coming to work anymore, which means work's not happening, which means all the farmers in Nebraska are going to go bankrupt because they all went out there and voted against their neighbors. 65% of neighbors who are immigrants, okay? Fuck around and find out at this point. You know what I mean? And of course, I do feel bad for those blue people in Nebraska who did not vote for this. So unfortunate. That's what you get for being racist and not wanting immigrants in this country, even though they're paying taxes and contributing. So
this is a classic FAFO moment, and it's so unfortunate that those who didn't vote for this are also caught up in this moment. Now, looking at how the red states, so many red states are running out of business, a lot of them are out crying for help and everything. One would just wonder, is the government really like interested in the welfare of their states, like the red states especially? Because from onset, they are those that we've seen out, always saying they are losing this and that, and then their business is going down. But then hardly do we see the government re-strategize to help them out in any way. I don't know, that's just my thoughts. What do you think, guys? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!